Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bridget and I am a reseller on several platforms such as Poshmark and eBay, but today we are going to talk about Depop and in particular what sold on Depop in January. So I've been on Depop probably for a year or two and really was muddling along, and starting in August my sales started picking up because I started using some new tools. So I'd like to share with you what I have sold for the month of January to give you an idea of the things that you might be able to sell on Depop. I do not model my own things at this point due to mostly lighting issues, and I sell a lot of vintage items, although I am not limiting my shop to vintage items on Depop. So let's get into what sold in January so you can have an idea of things that you might try to sell on your Depop store. So the first item for January was a sweater from my own closet that I believe was Y2K era. It was a cardigan that kind of had a space dye Muppet feel to it, as it were, and that sold for $25 plus shipping, and the Depop fee for that was $3. They take about 10% plus a small transaction fee on top of that. So it's about standard, a little bit better than some of the other marketplaces, but it's I won't give you the calculation for every item. Just know it's about, I would say 10 to 15%, and sometimes I do shipping errors, and so I make a little less, but that's generally what we're working with. Next up is this fabulous 1980s vintage floral blazer in an extra large size, and I would say it was a true extra large, so that's nice. I try to have things that can accommodate many sizes. This was like a pink and black and gray floral, and that sold for $35. Then I picked up at the bins several corsets or bustiers, which are on trend at this moment. It's kind of, I don't know, those seem to have a moment every decade or so. We did it in the 80s. It happened again, kind of Y2K. And also at this point, we were leading up to Valentine's Day. So I thought this was a good pickup. This one was a white and pink lace corset that had garters as well, and that sold for $20. This was a modern one, and I think it's retailed for about $29, $35. So that was a good price to get on something that was probably used, and I paid probably a quarter to 50 cents due to the price at the bins where you pay by the pound. For $11, I sold this new with tags bikini bottom from Massimo. I have several swim pieces from both Massimo and Merona, which are the Target brands, and I got them a long time ago. They have been sitting, they're probably from 2015, but not that I was reselling them at that point. That's when they were the year they were made for. So this I sold for $11 free shipping. I just can't, they're selling slowly but surely. Each summer I say I'm going to be done with them after this summer, but I've kept them around now, this going into third year, and they sell, and I've already got them photographed, and I have multiples of many of them, so it's easy to just keep them in the store and get a little bit of traffic and sales for them. They're very easy to ship, obviously. They can just go in a little Tyvek envelope and be on their way. Next up is another item from my closet. It was a floral skirt with a really pretty blue and teal print on it. That sold for $13, buyer paid shipping. And it was kind of a fit and flare, very basic, I would say, but it was cute and flattering. Next up is another bins find, a Victoria's Secret bra in bright yellow, possibly that marigold color we're seeing trending, and that sold for $20. Buyer paid shipping as well. Moving into the 12th, I sold a vintage blouse with a bow that was really cute but a little bit small. It sold for $14, and buyer paid shipping on that. This one I had for a while. I don't know if it was a size. I don't know if it's because it wasn't modeled, but this one finally sold for $14, I believe on an offer, and I was happy to see it go because I was kind of frustrated and sad that it had not sold. Next item was a vintage watch, gold tone with a leather band that sold for $15. Now, I buy bags of jewelry, or jewelry jars as some people call them. I really enjoy vintage jewelry, but it's sometimes a lot of work for a little profit, but also it's a lot of items can be stored in a small area, so it has its trade-offs. Next up was a denim chore coat that sold for $35, which pretty good sale. It was really heavy, so I did pay up a little bit for it, but I also made sure that I set my shipping high enough that I could ship it without loss. This was very distressed. It was, I believe, a 90s brand called Denim, and it had some staining that I could not get out. So I just disclosed that. I kind of played that up, that it was, authentic workwear, and eventually it sold. It was probably up for sale for about a year, so it wasn't a fast mover, but I think I did redo the description so that we played up the workwear aspect of it. And next up, another corset that sold for $20. This one also had garters as well, and I believe, I'm trying to remember if this is a vintage one. I believe it was modern-ish as well, probably 2010. So my instinct was good on those when I found that little stash of them in the bins to buy them. And then on the 14th, we have a tie that sold. So I like to pick up ties when they're cheap enough and they are either really cool vintage or nice silk, and especially if they're a designer brand. But this was Breyer, which isn't particularly anything amazing, but I did like the condition, and I did like the design on it. Sold for $19 plus shipping. Those are easy to store, easy to photograph. So if it's something that I wouldn't discourage you from listing ties, I would say if you have a good eye for them, they can turn a good profit and be kind of an easy thing to have in your inventory. Next up was an item that I sold for a family member who made a bad purchase at a local antique mall. This was a Minolta film camera. I'm not sure of the exact age. I'm gonna guess 70s. That used 126 film, which I don't believe is being made anymore. So, and then processing it is going to be another whole issue. So after talking with my daughter about this camera, we decided to go ahead and try to resell it as a decorative item. She did want a film camera to play around with, but this was just going to be too much money to essentially process. She's going to be paying another $25 every time she wants to buy and develop a roll of film. So we were able to get her money back, essentially, selling this on Depop. It is a really cool, cute, decorative item, and maybe somebody else wants to invest that money in processing the film and finding the film. Next up, another piece of swimwear from Massimo. So $13 for this extra large swim bottom. I paid shipping, and hopefully I hope it went to the beach and is having some fun with its new owner. Next item was an item I thought would sell for New Year's. I have sold one other of these beaded dresses in the last year, probably in the last 4 months actually. And this one was kind of a mini dress, beaded on top and silk kind of chiffony on the bottom. Sold for $75, which is a great sale. I think I probably have about $5 into this from a purchase a couple years ago. I finally this year. Then I sold a mini skirt, H&M denim mini skirt, very small size, size 0, and that sold for $15 plus shipping. It was a bins item, so I thought that was a great sale. And then this one was a Nike 1990s era color block windbreaker. Sold for $30, which I think is really good considering the condition issues it had. There were several kind of just, you know, the dirt you get it, the wrist that doesn't go away. And then also there were some ink stains that I just would look like ink stains that I just couldn't get out. So I disclosed those. I was very upfront about those. Similar ones that are in mint condition, I was seeing for $60 to $90, but I paid $5 for this at a garage sale, not realizing the condition issues with it, and so I was happy to get $30 for it. And then next up, coming close to the end of the month, is this, the brand I believe is Chore. It's a hand knit sweater with big chunky buttons, and it was sold on a promotion. I had it listed at $40. The markdown was $25. I was trying to get these sweaters moving as we were kind of heading out of winter. So I thought, I'm experiencing March in Kansas City and it's still winter here. But so I made $25 on this. It shipped in a padded flat rate envelope, priority mail, and went to Florida of all places. And next was this velour 90s, I called it grunge dress, from the brand Love Tent, and buyer paid $35 for this. Shipping was $5 because it was under a pound. And I'm trying to recall, I think this was a bins find. I don't think this was a hand-me-down or hand-me-up from my daughter. And so that was a great sale, I think. And finally, here is a hand-me-up from my daughter, a striped turtleneck from Arizona Jean Company, which is just a JCPenney store brand. So I think we got this on clearance probably for $5 to $8 a couple years ago. And I was able to sell it for $12 here on Depop. Striped items have been really big for a while. Turtlenecks are good. So this one sold after being listed for a few months and went to Texas. So those are my January sales. I'll be getting back with you soon about February sales. I've got a big one to start off the month that I am excited to tell you about. And so thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye.